Imagine having the life of your dreams ripped away in an instant. Gabi, a talented architect, was at the peak of her career in the big city until an unexpected betrayal made her lose everything. Forced to return to her hometown, she confronts ghosts from her past and faces an uncertain future. But destiny has surprising plans. Will Gabi be able to prove her innocence and reclaim her career? And what will happen when she reunites with Miguel, her great love from the past? Get ready for a story of redemption, second chances, and a love that defies time. Don't miss the emotional moments to come. Stay with us and discover how this inspiring journey unfolds. Gabi had always dreamed of leaving her small hometown behind and making a name for herself in the big city. With determination and hard work, she did just that. She moved to the bustling metropolis and, through sheer talent and perseverance, became a successful architect. The city was her playground, full of opportunities and challenges that she tackled head-on. Gabi thrived in her new environment. She designed impressive buildings, won prestigious awards, and her name became synonymous with innovation and elegance in architecture. Her career was soaring, and she enjoyed the admiration and respect of her peers. Every project she completed was a testament to her skill and vision, and she was proud of the life she had built from the ground up. However, life in the big city wasn't just about professional success. Gabi also embraced the vibrant social scene, attending glamorous events and making new friends. She relished the freedom and excitement that the city offered, far removed from the quiet and predictable life she had left behind. Her confidence grew with each passing day, and she felt unstoppable. Yet, amid the hustle and bustle, Gabi often found herself reflecting on the choices she had made. She occasionally thought about her hometown, her family, and Miguel, the boyfriend she had left behind to chase her dreams. These thoughts were fleeting, quickly overshadowed by her busy schedule and the demands of her career. Then came the day everything changed. The day began like any other, with meetings and deadlines, but ended in chaos. Gabi's intern, whom she had trusted and mentored, accused her of psychological abuse. The accusation spread like wildfire through the firm and the media, turning her life upside down. Gabi's hard-earned reputation was suddenly at stake, and the career she had worked so hard to build was on the verge of collapse. Gabi was forced to take a step back as the scandal unfolded. She faced suspicion, judgment, and isolation. The city that once felt like a land of endless possibilities now seemed cold and unforgiving. Desperate to clear her name and overwhelmed by the false accusations, Gabi realized she needed to retreat to the one place she thought she would never return to, her hometown. Packing her bags with a heavy heart, Gabi left the city behind. The drive back was long and filled with anxiety. She wondered how she would be received, if anyone would recognize her, and if she could ever rebuild her life. The future was uncertain, but she knew she had to face it head-on, just as she had done with every challenge before. As Gabi approached the familiar streets of her hometown, she felt a mix of dread and nostalgia. She was no longer the ambitious young woman who had left years ago. She was returning with scars, both visible and invisible, seeking solace and a chance to start anew. Gabi's life in the big city seemed perfect. She had a flourishing career as an architect, a beautiful apartment, and a reputation that many envied. Her projects were featured in top magazines, and clients sought her out for her innovative designs. She had worked tirelessly to reach the pinnacle of her profession, and it seemed nothing could derail her success. But sometimes, the unexpected happens when you least anticipate it. One morning, Gabi arrived at her office, ready to tackle a new day of meetings and design work. She greeted her team, including her intern, Carla, whom she had taken under her wing. Gabi believed in nurturing new talent, and Carla had shown promise from the start. However, as the day progressed, whispers started to circulate around the office. Gabi noticed colleagues exchanging glances and avoiding eye contact. Confused and slightly unnerved, she tried to brush it off and focus on her work. But the atmosphere grew tenser, and by midday, it was clear something was wrong. The news broke during a staff meeting. Carla, with tears streaming down her face, accused Gabi of psychological abuse. She claimed that Gabi had created a toxic work environment, constantly criticizing and undermining her. Carla's words were sharp and filled with emotion, painting a picture of a workplace where fear and humiliation reigned. Gabi was stunned. She had always prided herself on being a supportive and encouraging mentor. The accusations felt like a betrayal, and she struggled to find her voice as the room erupted in whispers and shocked expressions. Carla's story quickly spread beyond the walls of the office, reaching the ears of clients, colleagues, and the media. Within hours, the scandal had taken on a life of its own. Headlines screamed about the fall of a once celebrated architect, and social media buzzed with outrage and speculation. Gabi's inbox flooded with messages, some offering support, but many condemning her based solely on the accusations. Her world, meticulously built over years of hard work, was crumbling before her eyes. The firm's management, wary of the growing backlash, decided to place Gabi on indefinite leave while they conducted an investigation. She was asked to leave the office immediately, her access to ongoing projects revoked. Gabi walked out of the building, feeling a mix of disbelief and despair. The city that had once felt like a place of endless opportunity now seemed to close in on her. As she sat in her apartment that evening, the weight of the situation pressed down on her. She knew she was innocent, but proving it seemed like an insurmountable task. The media frenzy showed no signs of slowing down, and her professional network was beginning to distance itself from her. Gabi felt isolated and vulnerable, the vibrant life she had known slipping through her fingers. In the midst of this turmoil, Gabi realized she needed to step back and regroup. The city, once her sanctuary, had become a battleground. She needed a place to think, to plan her next move away from the constant scrutiny and judgment. There was only one place that came to mind, a place she had vowed never to return to, her hometown. With a heavy heart, Gabi packed her bags. She left her apartment, her career, and her reputation behind, hoping to find some semblance of peace and clarity back where it all began. The road ahead was uncertain, but she knew she had to face it head-on, just as she had faced every challenge before. The familiar landscape rolled by as Gabi drove down the winding country roads leading to her hometown. It had been years since she had seen these fields, these old houses, these quiet streets. As she approached the town limits, a mixture of nostalgia and apprehension filled her heart. She had left this place with big dreams and high hopes, determined to make a name for herself in the big city. Now, she was returning under a cloud of disgrace, her once bright future dimmed by scandal. The car came to a stop in front of her parents' house, a charming old farmhouse that held so many memories. Gabi took a deep breath, stepping out of the car and feeling the crunch of gravel under her feet. The front door opened, and her mother appeared, arms wide open, her face a mix of relief and concern. Gabi rushed into her embrace, the familiar warmth and comfort bringing tears to her eyes. Inside, the house was just as she remembered it. The same worn furniture, the same family photos lining the walls, the same smell of home-cooked meals. It was a stark contrast to her sleek, modern apartment in the city. Her father entered the room, wrapping her in a bear hug, his silent support speaking volumes. Despite everything, they were glad to have her back. As the days went by, Gabi tried to settle into a routine. She helped her parents with chores around the house, took long walks in the fields, and reacquainted herself with the simple pleasures of small-town life. But beneath the surface, a sense of shame and fear lingered. She avoided the town center, terrified of running into old acquaintances and having to explain why she was back. However, hiding was not an option. On a trip to the local grocery store, Gabi's worst fears were realized. She ran into Mrs. Martinez, her old high school teacher. The woman's eyes widened in surprise, quickly followed by a knowing look that Gabi dreaded. "Gabi, it's been so long. What brings you back to town?" Mrs. Martinez asked, her voice filled with genuine curiosity. Gabi forced a smile, explaining that she was taking a break from the city. But she could see the unspoken questions in Mrs. Martinez's eyes, the same questions that would spread through the town like wildfire. Gossip traveled fast in small communities, and Gabi knew it was only a matter of time before everyone knew about her fall from grace. One afternoon, while walking by the river, Gabi heard a familiar voice call out her name. She turned to see Miguel, her high school sweetheart, standing by the water's edge. He looked just as she remembered, yet more mature, with a hint of sadness in his eyes. Memories of their time together flooded back, sweet, innocent, and full of promise. Miguel approached her with a cautious smile. "Gabi, it's been a long time," he said softly. She nodded, feeling a lump form in her throat. They stood there for a moment, the weight of unspoken words hanging between them. Finally, Miguel broke the silence. "I heard about what happened in the city. I'm really sorry." Gabi sighed, her defenses crumbling. "It's been tough, Miguel. I never thought I'd end up back here, especially like this." Miguel nodded understandingly. "You don't have to go through this alone, Gabi. Let me help you." As they walked along the river, Gabi shared her story. The rise and fall of her career, the betrayal, and the scandal. Miguel listened intently, offering comfort and support. Despite the years and the pain of their separation, there was an undeniable connection between them, a bond that time hadn't eroded. Back in her hometown, Gabi began to find solace in the familiar faces and places. The shame and fear started to fade, replaced by a determination to clear her name and reclaim her life. With Miguel by her side, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Together, they would face the challenges ahead and perhaps rediscover the love they had once shared. The sun was setting, casting a warm golden glow over the quiet streets of Gabi's hometown. She decided to take a walk by the river, a place where she used to spend countless hours dreaming about her future. The familiar path brought back memories, and she found herself lost in thought, wondering how her life had taken such a drastic turn. As she approached the water's edge, she heard a voice that sent a shiver down her spine. "Gabi?" She turned to see Miguel standing there, his eyes wide with surprise and a hint of something else. Maybe hope. He looked different, more mature, but his presence was just as comforting as she remembered. For a moment, neither of them spoke. They simply stood there, absorbing the reality of being in each other's presence after so many years. Finally, Miguel broke the silence. "I heard you were back in town. It's been a long time." Gabi nodded, her emotions swirling. "Yeah, it has. I didn't expect to run into you so soon." Miguel took a step closer, his expression gentle. "How have you been? I heard about what happened in the city." "I'm really sorry, Gabi." The mention of the scandal brought a wave of pain, but seeing the genuine concern in Miguel's eyes gave her a sense of relief. "It's been tough, Miguel. I feel like I lost everything I've worked for." Miguel nodded, his gaze unwavering. "You haven't lost everything. You're still you, Gabi. The woman who dreamed big and made things happen. That hasn't changed." As they walked along the riverbank, the conversation flowed naturally. Gabi shared her struggles, the betrayal she felt from her in turn, and the humiliation of being forced to leave the city. Miguel listened intently, offering words of comfort and understanding. He spoke about his life too, how he had stayed in their hometown, working in the family business, and the ups and downs he had faced. Their connection was undeniable, and Gabi felt a sense of peace she hadn't experienced in a long time. Miguel had always been her anchor, and despite the years apart, that bond had not been broken. They laughed about old times, reminiscing about their high school days, and slowly the heaviness in Gabi's heart began to lift. The next few days were filled with more meetings by the river, dinners with Miguel's family, and quiet talks under the stars. Miguel's presence was a balm to her wounded spirit, and she found herself looking forward to each moment they spent together. He believed in her innocence and was determined to help her clear her name. One evening, as they sat on a bench overlooking the water, Miguel turned to Gabi with a serious expression. "Gabi, I want to help you fight this. We can prove that those accusations are false. You don't have to do it alone." Gabi looked into his eyes, seeing the sincerity and determination there. "Thank you, Miguel. Your support means everything to me." Miguel smiled, taking her hand in his. "We're in this together, just like old times. We'll get through this, and you'll come out stronger on the other side." As they sat there, hand in hand, Gabi felt a spark of hope ignite within her. With Miguel by her side, she felt like she could face anything. The road ahead would be challenging, but she was no longer alone. Together, they would uncover the truth, restore her reputation, and maybe just maybe, find their way back to each other in the process. The future was uncertain, but with love and determination, Gabi knew they could overcome any obstacle. Gabi knew clearing her name would be no easy task. The scandal in the city had spread far and wide, and rebuilding her reputation seemed like an insurmountable challenge. But with Miguel by her side, she felt a renewed sense of determination. Together, they began the arduous journey to prove her innocence and restore her career. The first step was gathering evidence. Gabi and Miguel spent countless hours poring over old emails, messages, and documents. They meticulously searched for anything that could disprove Carla's accusations. Each late night and early morning brought them closer together, their bond strengthening with every piece of evidence they uncovered. Miguel reached out to his contacts in the legal field, and soon they were meeting with a lawyer who believed in Gabi's case. The lawyer, a sharp and compassionate woman named Laura, was moved by Gabi's story and agreed to represent her pro bono. Laura's expertise and tenacity gave Gabi the boost of confidence she needed. They started by deposing former colleagues and clients. Many were hesitant at first, afraid to be associated with the scandal, but Miguel's unwavering support and persuasive nature helped bring them around. Slowly, testimonies began to paint a different picture of Gabi, one of a dedicated, kind, and professional architect, rather than the tyrant Carla had described. Gabi's emotions were a roller coaster throughout the process. She faced moments of doubt and fear, wondering if she would ever be able to return to the life she loved. But Miguel was always there, encouraging her, reminding her of her strength and resilience. His faith in her never wavered, and that unwavering belief kept her going even in the darkest moments. In addition to the legal battle, Gabi decided to take a proactive approach to regain her reputation. She reached out to media outlets, sharing her side of the story. Interviews and articles began to surface, providing a counter-narrative to the scandalous headlines that had once dominated the news. She spoke candidly about her experience, the betrayal she felt, and her unwavering commitment to her profession. Meanwhile, Laura worked tirelessly to prepare for the court case. She deconstructed Carla's accusations, exposing inconsistencies and lies. The turning point came when a former colleague of Carla's came forward with information that cast serious doubt on Carla's credibility. This new testimony was a game-changer, and it gave Gabi and her team the leverage they needed. As the court date approached, Gabi felt a mixture of anxiety and hope. She knew this was her chance to set the record straight, to reclaim her life and career. The courtroom was packed, with media and supporters filling the seats. Gabi sat next to Laura, clutching Miguel's hand, drawing strength from his presence. Laura's opening statement was powerful and compelling, setting the tone for the proceedings. Witness after witness testified, each one supporting Gabi's character and professionalism. The turning point came when Carla was cross-examined. Laura's questioning was relentless, and Carla's facade began to crumble under the pressure. The inconsistencies in her story were laid bare for all to see. When the verdict was finally read, Gabi held her breath. The judge declared her innocent of all accusations, and a wave of relief and joy washed over her. Tears streamed down her face as she hugged Miguel and Laura, overwhelmed by the weight lifted off her shoulders. Outside the courthouse, Gabi faced a throng of reporters and supporters. She addressed them with a renewed sense of confidence and grace, thanking everyone who had believed in her and stood by her side. She spoke about the importance of truth and resilience, and her determination to move forward stronger than ever. The fight for her innocence had been grueling, but it had also brought Gabi closer to her roots, her family, and Miguel. She had rediscovered her inner strength and found love and support in the most challenging of times. As she looked into Miguel's eyes, she knew that together, they could face any future, no matter how uncertain it might be. The scandal had taken much from her, but it had also given her a chance to rebuild her life with a new perspective and deeper connections. With her name cleared and her career back on track, Gabi was ready to take on the world once more, this time with Miguel by her side. With her name cleared and her career back on track, Gabi felt a sense of relief and renewed purpose. However, amidst the legal battles and media frenzy, something even more profound had quietly blossomed: her relationship with Miguel. What began as a supportive friendship had slowly transformed into something deeper, and both Gabi and Miguel felt the stirrings of a love they thought they had lost forever. One crisp autumn evening, after a celebratory dinner with friends and family, Gabi and Miguel found themselves alone by the river where they had first reunited. The moonlight danced on the water, and the air was filled with the gentle sounds of the night. They walked hand in hand, their hearts full of unspoken words and emotions. "Miguel," Gabi began, her voice soft but steady, "I don't know how I would have gotten through this without you. You've been my rock, my anchor. Thank you for believing in me when I couldn't even believe in myself." Miguel stopped and turned to face her, his eyes reflecting the same emotions that swirled within her. "Gabi, you've always been strong. Even when you felt weak, you were strong. I'm just glad I could be here for you. And to be honest, these past few months have made me realize how much I've missed you, how much I've always loved you." Gabi felt tears well up in her eyes, but they were tears of joy and love. "I've missed you too, Miguel. Leaving you was the hardest thing I've ever done. I thought I had to go out into the world to find myself, but now I see that you've always been a part of me. Our love never really went away, did it?" Miguel shook his head, a smile spreading across his face. "No, it never did. It just waited for the right moment to come back to life. And I think that moment is now." He gently cupped her face in his hands and kissed her, a kiss that felt like coming home. It was filled with all the years of longing, the pain of separation, and the joy of rediscovery. As they held each other, the world around them seemed to fade away, leaving just the two of them, connected by a love that had withstood the test of time and adversity. From that night on, Gabi and Miguel's relationship blossomed. They spent more time together, sharing their dreams and fears, planning a future that now seemed brighter than ever. Miguel was by her side as she rebuilt her career, offering advice and support, celebrating her successes, and comforting her during setbacks. Gabi found herself falling in love with Miguel all over again. She admired his kindness, his strength, and his unwavering loyalty. He made her laugh. He listened when she needed to talk, and he stood by her side through thick and thin. In Miguel, she found not only a partner but a true soulmate. Their love was not without challenges. They had to navigate the complexities of their past, deal with the remnants of the scandal, and face the uncertainties of the future. But every challenge only brought them closer, strengthening their bond and deepening their commitment to each other. One evening, as they watched the sunset from the porch of Gabi's childhood home, Miguel took her hand and looked into her eyes. "Gabi, we've been through so much together. We've seen each other at our best and our worst. And through it all, my love for you has only grown stronger. I can't imagine my life without you. Will you marry me?" Gabi's heart soared as she gazed into the eyes of the man she had always loved. "Yes, Miguel. Yes, I will marry you." Their wedding was a beautiful celebration of love and resilience, surrounded by family and friends who had supported them through their journey. As they exchanged vows, Gabi felt a profound sense of gratitude for the trials that had led them back to each other. They had both changed and grown, and their love was richer and more mature for it. As they danced under the stars, Gabi knew that their future together would be filled with both challenges and joys. But she also knew that with Miguel by her side, she could face anything. Their love had been tested by time and adversity, and it had emerged stronger than ever. In the end, Gabi realized that true success wasn't just about professional achievements or recognition. It was about love, resilience, and the people who stand by you through thick and thin. With Miguel, she had found all of that and more. Their love story, once interrupted, had found its way back to a beautiful new beginning.